got you the win?
Well, the game plan going in was that we were going to try to help off of particular players. They run a 4-out, 1-in motion offense. They keep the one kid down low. We felt like we really needed, when their starting 5-player goes out, their 4-player goes to the block, and she's very, very good. She's one of the top scorers in the conference, and she's good both facing the basket and under the basket. And when she's under the basket, we really have to help a lot, but they have very significant shooters. So we designated a couple kids that we were going to play off of to help, and other kids we were going to stay on all the time. Well, promptly, number 13, Thompson, for them, she was one of the kids we were just not going to play. And she scored 13 points in the first half, which was almost her career high in one half. We dared her to shoot. She shot it and scored it. So second half, we decided we needed to make a change, and we just decided, the best way to keep it out of the post and not sag off of any particular players is just pressure everywhere, pressure everyone, and really try to put a significant amount of ball pressure on. And I thought when we did that, we played. It also gives us energy to play that type of, pressure defense. And as we started to find success on the offensive end, then we had a lot more pep in our step, and you could see that we were very aggressive defensively, and that ended up being the difference for us.
Because the league has somewhat changed now, you had a different leader than normal. You really feel you have a chance to do something this year.
I agree, and I think our kids feel that, and I think it sort of changed a little from the very beginning. It was really more about finding some growth and a little self-respect, and we had a really disappointing season last year, feeling we won 5 conference games, feeling like we needed to really turn a corner here as a team, and now we're at the halfway point of conference, and we've we're 5-3, we're 1 win out of first place, so I think that it's nice the focus has a little bit shifted rather than being so much on us and are we growing, are we getting better, more towards, well, what can we do now that we're at this point, and how successful can we be here, and are we contending with the top teams in the league. And those are conversations that we have as we do our scouts, each prepping for each game. What does this game mean in the grand scheme of the conference, and who are the league leaders beating and who are they losing to, and you have to be careful, to get the games that you should get. Can't slip up there, and then you've got to really mix it up with the top teams in the league. And right now there are 5 teams that have, sort of in the first half, in the first half, but it's halfway there.
Are you surprised to be where you are, or is this about where you thought you'd be, or do you even permit yourself to project that way at the start of a season?
Well, we do a lot of projecting. The team does some projecting beginning of the year. We do some team building where we have goal setting, and the girls actually research all of the teams. They pair off, and we send them the computers, and they research their opponents, and then they make some sort of, I guess, statements about where they think we are compared to the teams that they've researched, and we tally all this stuff up, and they set some goals, which we really don't discuss outside of that room. I mean, this is our goals that we set, and the coaches do the same type of thing. We try to figure out what is realistic for us at this period and at this juncture as a team. And we, over the course of the previous few years, we've had other I guess challenges that have kept us from really just focusing on winning or losing. Team chemistry and just work ethic and things like that. And now we're at a point where these girls are really all in, and they're working very hard, and you can see the progression that they're making. So having said that, you look early in the season, you predict based on what you've seen so far, and now their character is becoming more and more evident, and I think that I'm happy with where we are. I think that we have lost a couple games that I really thought we shouldn't have lost, non-conference, and also one in conference. And then I think we've beaten some teams that I didn't know if we were yet prepared to beat. So sort of evening out. But now the second half, things are being sorted out, and it gives us a really good look at where we need to be, and the teams that we need to be able to compete with in order to, be a top 4 seed. And that's one of our goals, is to host the first round of the conference tournament.
Well, let me rephrase that question a little bit. If I'd have told you on October 30th that I have a great crystal ball here and it says you'll be 5-3 and in the thick of it on early in February, would you have said that that's all right by me?
Yeah, I'd have been glad. I'd have been happy with that. I would have. 5-3 with 8 games to go in the regular conference season. I'd have been happy with that.
Any of the teams surprise you? I mean, can you give like an overall look? I mean, obviously, you have Green Bay is kind of hanging on the edges in that of first place and that, and Youngstown and that. Any of those teams surprise you, kind of filtering out the way you thought the league would at the beginning?
Yeah, I think, I recently looked back at how teams were picked, and I think Green Bay was picked 1. I think Wright State was picked 2, which we knew, Wright State had a lot coming back and transfers who were eligible. UIC, we knew that they would be very senior-laden and have a lot of really good experience. And Youngstown, who lost really one very significant player. So those 4 teams, I think, we felt would be up in the top. And I'd like to remain in their company. And that's what we're really trying to do. And first half, we've beaten Wright State, and we've beaten Youngstown now, 2 of the 4 that are up on the top. And I think that's a good place to be. I hope that the league sees us as dangerous, that they're just not sure where we're going to fall. And I think that with continued preparation and effort and consistency from my team, I think that we can hang out in that top 3
Would you
or
rather
4.
sneak up on people?
Oh yeah.
Like with the Indians, they even mentioned that we kind of like snuck up.
Yeah.
And then Francona is saying, well, now they're all looking for us this year.
Yeah,
So-
right. Well, I think that's sort of been where we've had our most success in the time that I've been here. When we won the conference tournament the first year in 2008, we had been, we had 8 wins the year before, and we had 19 that year. I think, we snuck up on some people then, and then, a couple years later we did it again. So I think that's sort of been where we've had our most success, is when we picked 7th this year. So hopefully we will finish higher than 7th.
Yeah. You talk about Corey's week, obviously getting honor from the league.
Yeah, Corey was a preseason all-conference player, and she has, I think in the conference season really stepped up a great deal. Corey's not a kid who really wants to be in the limelight. It doesn't seem like she doesn't really want all the attention that is associated with, being the player, the go-to player. And so in some respects, she, as I was saying, she sort of is the silent assassin out there. She, we played at Valpo, and Odessa Ademan hit 7 threes, and they're all over trying to find her. We put her in the corner, we put her on the wing, we put her, and she's hitting threes, and they're scrambling to find her. And at the end of the game, we get the box score, and I'm like, how about Des? Hitting 7 threes, this is great. And I look at the box score, and, Corey's 9 for 11 from the field, hit 5 threes, scores 25 points, or 20, I don't know what it was, 24 or 25. And is the leading scorer. And so she sort of does that. When I talk about sneaking up on you, all eyes on somebody, and then Corey's, dropping 20-something. And that's sort of, I think, sort of how she likes it. Imani's been very, very good and very consistent for us all year. And then Corey, nails 20 points for you. So she's had back-to-back really good games. I think contributing to the being named Horizon League Co-Player of the Week is that who we beat this week, that we were able to, give Youngstown their first loss of the season, and she, played exceptionally well. So hopefully she can keep that up. She's playing really well for us right now.
You know the league better than me. You know the women's game better than me. But I like to think I can look at this right here and pick out some interesting trends. And in 32 years of covering college basketball, I can't remember a year when I could look at somebody's sheet and see 3 players at the top of a team's statistical charts with numbers like your 3 women have this year. Do you think that this is unusual? Is it unusual in the context of your coaching career? Is it unusual in terms of this league? Speaking only for myself, I've rarely seen that kind of production from 3 people and not have chemistry problems on a team, if you know what I mean.
Well, so I'm not sure which to answer first, but is it unusual? It's unusual for us because we have always had, or for the majority of my time here, we've had one clearly high scorer. Kaylee Klein, Shea Winton, Shanita Garland. We've had a kid who's averaged over 20, and then the next person maybe 10 or 11 or 12 points. So it's a little bit unusual for us, but I have been a part of programs where we've had that and that's when we've had some of our most success, is when you're distributing the ball well, you have a number of threats, and if Haley could be on the floor more, she'd be up into double figures as well. So I think this team really is. I think they're all contributing any given night, and I think that's what makes us hard to guard at times. I think these 3, when they came in, I remember speaking to them during the preseason of their freshman year, and they weren't getting in the mix as far as starting lineups and that kind of stuff. But I called them aside after a practice and said, "Do you guys know how good your class is going to be? I mean, you have a really special class, and it's going to be really good." And they said, "We know." And now here we are, in their 3rd year. And what I like most about these numbers is that they're coming back. That's what I like. They're coming back next year. So this is their junior year, averaging 17, 15, and 15, and they'll grow. And so will our other kids grow, and that's going to be. I think that's going to bode well for us.
Is there anybody in the league right now who can say we've got three players who are doing what? And I'm not talking about the 7 or 8 deep players. I'm just talking about 3 deep at the top. Is there anybody in the league now who you think is even close to what you're?
I do.
3 are doing?
I think Wright State, who we're up against next. I think they've got Kim Deming's preseason player of the year, Taylor Mingo, and Ivory James. Those 3 are averaging all double figures, and 20, 17, and probably 15. So they've got 3. I think UIC is probably pretty close to that. I'm not sure, with Rachel Story and Ravonna Campbell and Katie Hanneman. I think if you look at the top teams in the league, you're probably going to see at least 2, if not 3, significant players that are scoring a lot, giving a lot, contributing a lot.